I know how it feels to absolutely destroy an enemy with millions of damage by using your beloved striker build, tipping scale build, or even ongoing directive builds. But what if I can tell you, you can do the same thing to multiple targets. Not one, not two, but three, sometimes even 4 and 5 enemies all at the same time going down. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to show you today, how you can do that. Plus, we're also using a weapon which is not only going to do the things that I just mentioned, but also at the same time will be really helpful for your entire team, if you're playing in a group, that is. So without wasting much of your time, let me show you this build. But first, I do want to show you my modifiers because a lot of people always ask me what modifiers you're using. To be honest, you can use whatever modifiers you like to use. The seasonal modifiers are pretty good. You don't need the modifiers for this build to work really well, to be honest, but the modifiers do give it an edge, and it's always quite fun to use the modifiers. Plus, they do give you a lot of XP as well. Definitely recommend to use that. Let me show you what modifiers I'm using. Now, as for the modifiers, well, I'm going to quickly show you what modifiers I have. I always use the sanitation as my active modifier for that entire season, to be honest, because I don't like anything else but the sanitation, because whenever you activate it, it burns all the enemies, which is quite fun, and plus burning targets don't shoot back, so there's that. And also you get 7% damage per stack, and the max stacks is 10 times, so you can see where the damage is coming from. Plus also you have repair, which is 110% per second. That's quite a lot of repair. The moment you crit and burn enemies, you will see your armor is basically full, like instantly, which is pretty sweet. So you can keep this up basically forever. As long as you're burning and taking them down, you're going to be basically refreshing it and reducing the timer that is ticking. So you can keep it up for like 2 to 3 rooms, even in a legendary mission, if you keep killing the enemies, that is. So yeah. Now, as for the passive modifier, I'm using the Rupert Stare. So whenever I break the armor of a tank, something like a Chunga in a legendary mission, it breaks all their armor, plus also bleeds the nearby enemies within 15 meters, so that's pretty nice. And I also use the Stepping Stone here as my passive modifier, which basically gives you hollow point ammo for taking down an assault enemy with a headshot. So that is 20% of amplified damage, which is no joke. Like, this is really, seriously really high damage. And then the final one, I use the Keep Out, which whenever there is a shotgunner, like a rusher, a type of enemy, I take them down. I get movement speed of 20% for 10 seconds, so, you know, I can run fast. So that's basically my modifiers. Now, as for the weapon, honestly, I'm going to say the same thing that I said in the last video, which is if I had the ability to use 2 exotic weapons, I would have done that, because I'm using the Bluescreen right now as my main because I'm loving it. But the other one that I highly recommend is also Pestilence. If you want to do some serious damage, Pestilence. It's going to do more than 1 million tick damage. That's how good it is. The only downside of the Pestilence is its max size. Pretty low. It's only 100. It gets over really quickly because of that high RPM. Like, you will empty that mag pretty much instantly. And the other downside is its reload speed. It takes 4 seconds, more than 4 seconds, to actually reload this weapon. However, since you have the Plague of the Outcast tick going on, which I mentioned, more than 1 million, it doesn't feel that bad because when you're reloading, you're still ticking, right? And you can tick on multiple enemies as well if you hit multiple enemies, which is, so yeah, that is pretty good. But honestly, if you want to do some serious damage, use this. But if you want to play in a team and you want to help the team, use the Bluescreen because of its disruptor rounds, which will pulse, disorient, and EMP the enemies consistently, to be honest, and you can easily hit that 50 stacks with the help of Negotiator without any issue. Now, Negotiator kills will not going to trigger this talent. Let me be clear on that. You still need to manually, hit the enemies to activate this talent on them, but it's not a problem because with Negotiator, you want to mark 3 targets. And since you're going to be marking 3 targets, you're automatically going to be marking them with the disruptor rounds without any issue. Now, the one that works is when you hit one enemy, the other 2 enemies that is taking damage from Negotiator helps you build up the stacks really quickly. Plus, if any one of them goes down, the marked targets that is, it also triggers the talent of the disruptor round, that is. You can easily keep those, pulse, disrupt, and disorient active basically all the time. So it's really helpful for like legendary missions where the enemies are spamming you with like drones and this and that and mini tanks, warhounds, all of that stuff. So you can easily kind of crowd control in a way without using a crowd control build. So this works really well with that. And it also deals quite a lot of damage. Like, I have rate of fire, not even damage to armor. My weapon expertise is only 2, and I'm hitting 800k crits on the body. That is without modifiers though. And that is just the damage of the weapon, not the Negotiator. The Negotiator damage will be even more. Like the extra 2 damage numbers that you're going to be seeing, that's going to be even higher than that because of the backpack of Negotiator. So I'll explain that in the build section. But yeah, that'll do more damage. So I guess try it out. Now, I know 99% of the time people will recommend something like Strega with Negotiator, but I guess I'm that 1% idiot who would say, actually, no. I tried it. I really did. I just didn't like it that much, at least with this particular setup. The max size was too low for me, and also the spread was crazy. Like, it was not that accurate. But if you like using Strega, you could do that. But I'm absolutely having fun with the Pestilence and the Bluescreen, which, again, I would highly recommend you to try it out. These are the 2 weapons that I'm using on this build. Not just staying with the Bluescreen, but also using the Pestilence. Both of them, okay? I wish I could use both right now, but unfortunately, the game doesn't allow it. So that's my weapons. Now, as for the build, it's a very simple and easy build to make. Like, there is nothing complex thing happening here. You don't have to worry about proccing this, proccing that. It's basically set and forget. You just need 4 pieces of Negotiator Dilemma with the backpack, obviously, because the backpack increases your damage by a lot. So we're going to be using that. Whenever you make Negotiator, make sure you always have the backpack, okay? And we're using the gloves, the exotic gloves here, which is from the season, obviously, the OVERDOGS gloves. You can get it from reaching, rank 29, I believe, from the season. So that's where you can get that. And we're using a high-end chest piece. Now, this could be different, but I'm going to explain why I have this particular one. So I'm using the Steelworks here, which gives us 10% armor on kill. Now, the reason why I have this, I could have just used Sheshka for more crit chance or Petra for more LMG damage, which most of you guys would probably recommend doing that. But I would say the reason why I have this, because not just 10% armor on kill. I mean, technically, yes, 10% armor on kill, but we also get 10% from Gunner specialization. Gunner 10%, this 10% means 20% of armor on kill. Now, that might not sound a lot, but it is a lot, because we're using Negotiator. And we're going to be taking down 3 targets. So technically we have 60% armor on kill. And it works all the time, and it's really, really good healing. Like, I'm not going to lie, like it is really nice. Now, if you're a new player, like with low SSD, I highly recommend you to just get as much crit chance as you can on the build. Even if you have to use a Sheshka piece, just get that crit chance higher, because you will get the crit damage from Negotiator without any issue. So make sure your crit chance is high, okay? For the attributes here, I have crit damage, crit chance, and crit chance mod. And obviously the Obliterate talent, which is again another set and forget talent. It doesn't have any range restriction, easy point and shoot, it'll always be active. Our LMG has 40 optimal range, so yeah, range is not a problem here. You can just fire from anywhere and it'll work. Now, as for the 4 piece of Negotiator here, we got the mask, we have weapon damage, crit damage, and crit chance mod here. And for the holster, we have weapon damage, crit damage. For the knee pads, I have weapon damage, crit damage. And for the backpack, I have weapon damage, crit damage, and crit damage mod. Again, I am using crit damage because I can afford it. If your SSD is lower, go for crit chance, okay? Just get that crit chance higher. Now, the reason why, like I said, I'm using the backpack of Negotiator because of this talent over here, which increases that 60% damage to 112. That's why the other 2 instances of damage, the marked damage, is higher than the one you're actually hitting. So that's how you get that more damage. And if you're a new player, if you don't know what it does, well, crit chance and crit damage is what you get from it as a set piece bonus, which is nice. But the 4 piece is where all the magic happens. Whenever you critically hit, you mark enemies. And you can mark up to 3 enemies, and that stays for 20 seconds. And those marked enemies will take 60% of your actual damage that you're dealing. But since we're using the backpack, that 60% becomes 112%. And every time you get a kill, you get 2% of crit damage, stacking up to 20 times. So that's why I said you get a lot of crit damage from Negotiator, just get that crit chance higher. So that's basically how it works. Now, as for the gloves, honestly, you don't have to worry about the talent that much. Just set and forget, it'll work. Yeah, it does 30% amplified damage to the lowest ranking enemies currently in combat, but most of the time, you're gonna be seeing those lowest ranking enemies anyway, like something like a legendary mission or even retaliation or control points. You will have this talent active. Now, since you're using Negotiator, even if you don't do amplified damage to the enemy that you're actually hitting, but because of Negotiator, the other 2 instances of damage, the marked damage, will be amplified by this thing. So no matter what you do, you're always going to be dealing that higher damage because of the help of Negotiator, basically. So again, don't worry about it, just set and forget, okay? Just put it on, you'll see the damage. Now, if I show you my stats here, you can see my stats actually pretty good. Like we got a 50% crit chance there and 149. I mean, 49, 149. Yeah, that's what I have. I can get higher, but since I'm playing with someone with Coyote, this is perfectly fine. Even if I play with clan members or something with Coyote, they're absolutely fine. But if you're playing solo, or you're playing with randoms, you know, matchmaking and stuff like that, get that crit chance higher, okay? At least 55%. If you don't want to hit the cap of 60, just get 55%, 56, 57, something like that. Just get there and don't worry about the crit damage. Negotiator will give you the crit damage. So that's pretty much what the build is. And again, plenty good survivability here because of the armor and kill, because we are getting like technically 60% armor and kill, to be honest, with this. And also we have the Banshee Pulse to kind of save us from a bunch of horde of enemies. And also the weapon itself is like a crowd control, so there is that. And unless you want to use the Pestilence, that is. So you can use the Pestilence for crazy damage. You can use this for an insane amount of utility, to be honest, in a group or solo. So give it a try. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like the video, then maybe hit the like and subscribe, you know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace.